Majora's Mask is an interesting little game. It's a very popular entry in the Zelda franchise, and it generates a lot of discussion online. What from the atmosphere, the lore, the music, the moon? I mean, really just the whole vibe of this little N64 game that, by all accounts, shouldn't exist. Hell, given the game's rushed development, it should have been a complete train wreck. But Nintendo was able to make it work and pump out one of the strangest and unique games. It's amazing what they can do when they're not recycling the same ideas over and over again. Yeah, it's safe to say that Majora's Mask has a lot of fans who love everything about the game, except the game itself. It's not even a love-hate kind of thing, but more of a love it from afar kind of deal. Something I've seen come up a lot when people talk about Majora's Mask is the difficulty. Zelda games aren't exactly known for being difficult, maybe except for you, and this one is no different. So what makes it stick out from the rest and be labeled hard? Time is against you. See that moon up there? It's going to fall and kill everyone in 3 days. You have to stop that from happening. In an hour. Alright, truth be told, it's only an hour if you don't play the Song of Inverter time and change it to roughly 3 hours. That's right, time management in the Zelda game. Even if you've never played one, I'm sure you know that they're fairly big games. They require some time, so for one to be on any kind of time limit is just pure evil, right? Well, no. I'm actually gonna let you on a little secret about Majora's Mask. The game is all about the replayability. People act like this game's expecting you to beat it in those 3-ish hours, and that's pretty wrong, actually. You don't have to do it all in one go, and while the time limit might sound intimidating, the game is designed with that in mind. Now, having said that, let's get into your progress and why you should stop being a little bitch. So, how much of it will be saved, and how much of it will be lost? There's a few different ways to measure your progress, so let's start with all the items you acquire throughout the game. This makes sense, I promise. Restarting the 3-day cycle is the game straight up mugging you of all your shit. It's essentially chucking everything you've collected and done right in the fucking trash. Yes, you will lose all of your items. Arrows, bugs, rupees, potions, bombs, Deku sticks and nuts, magic beans, any quest items you were gathering, that includes the dungeon and boss keys, all get thrown out. I know all of that sounds unappealing, it's all perfectly manageable though, and there's plenty of ways around this. You have a bank that lets you deposit all of your rupees, and even ignoring that, you'll be drowning in a down thing, especially once you get the bigger wallets. Your overflow of rupees is nowhere near as bad as it is in Wind Waker though. Like, fuck, that game does not give you a big enough wallet. Skyward Sword seems to be the only game that doesn't have a problem of rupees making your wallet a thick boy. I suppose Breath of the Wild offers enough things for you to buy to prevent that problem. Speaking of spending rupees, there are shops in Clock Town right in front of the bank, so you don't have to go far, that will let you buy all the items you want. Or you can just do what I do and bully the grass for all the items it contains. It's cheaper and highly effective. So getting all of your stuff back takes no time at all, and if it makes you feel any better, you don't lose everything. You just lose your consumable items. Your non-consumable items, such as weapons, wallets, bomb bags, masks, bottles, pictograph that you can use to take a picture of a lady pirate for some fucking creep. Even shit like the dungeon map, you all get the key. Yeah, the keys get chucked, but the map doesn't, so yeah, there you go. Now, items are one thing, but what about progress? We're getting to it. So how about that save system? The only way you can truly save your progress is if you rewind time. It's not your only way to save though. People never really bring up the owl statues, but they can temporarily save your progress and even act as a means of fast travel. Now I say temporary because they're just a quick save and only exist once you open that file. So if you load up the owl save file and immediately close it for some reason, or the game crashes, you'll lose all of that progress. So try to save before closing the game. The owl statues are nice to use because if you need to leave the game for whatever reason, but say you're on the second day still doing a quest, you don't have to start over completely, and you can pick up where you left off. If you're playing the game on the Wii U, why? Or emulating it, you can just use save states and ignore the owl statues completely. Majora's Mask on the Switch, I'm sure has save states and a rewind feature as well, so you could use those if you'd like. Now, not everyone is a fan of using stuff like save states, and I'll admit that using them in a game like Majora does sort of miss the point of the time loop mechanic. I'm not going to gatekeep how you play the game though, and whatever makes it more fun and accessible is the way I recommend you play. Still, there's a rush to doing everything you can, as best you can, in one go, and locking in all that progress at the end of it all. I'd say give that a go when you feel comfortable to try it. As for the owl statues themselves, I'm gonna be honest, I never actually used them. I only used them for this playthrough just so I could talk about them and see how they worked. They are still worth activating for the fast travel, but again, I never use them as they aren't needed. The Japanese version of Majora's Mask exclusively uses the owl statues for fast travel, so attaching the save feature to them was just for us dumbass Americans. As nice as the fast travel is, you can get to your destination quick enough without having to use it. I really want to stress the time limit isn't as strict as you might think, and that's the best example I can give, that the fast travel in a game like this is still something I ignore. This is the big one. If you've heard anything about Majora's Mask, it's that everything runs on a 3-day time schedule, and with that comes the inevitable resetting of said schedule. I mean, I only keep bringing it up in this video. Everything you do is undone once you start that first day over again. So what does that mean for everything you're currently working on? Well, might as well get into it now. Remember that replayability I mentioned? Yeah, this is where that comes in. See, you're stuck in a loop. You have a 3-day cycle to do whatever you want and to try to execute it as best you can. You don't have to have every hour planned out, but it does help to at least have a general idea of the main thing or things you want to accomplish. It's up to you how you want to tackle it, and if you run out of time, then you just try again. That's just part of the loop. You don't have to worry much about wasting time going from one place to another, as Termina is nowhere near the size of Hyrule Field from Ocarina of Time. You're not going to be running around a wide, empty, kind of ugly open field that's just going to waste your time, especially in a game that encourages you to make the most of your time. Majora's Mask is very compact, which is a good thing. Everything is close together so that you don't have to go far and get back to what you were doing. Getting from point A to B won't take you long, and as you progress, it gets even quicker. For example, as Deku Link, you can spin to increase your speed. The bunny hood makes you run faster. Epona, when she's not locked up, is a quick way to get around and lets you hop the fence to the Great Bay. And my personal favorite is Goron Link, who has the, well, Goron roll. The game does everything it can to help you save time, and that's reflected in all the various means you have to quickly travel around from one area to another. It helps even more that none of the areas are too big either, so you won't be hurting for time. You're not going to have to travel as far as you would, say, Ocarina or Wind Waker. Honestly, traversing is a lot more in line with something like Skyward Sword. Or I guess Skyward Sword would be more like this since Majora was first. But, okay, running around Termina like a jackass is one thing, but that still doesn't really answer the question of not losing a lot of progress and potentially feeling like you wasted your time. Now, yes, you obviously don't have all the time in the world, but even taking into account all the mistakes you'll make or even just other objectives you might get distracted by, you can still succeed. Every fresh start from the dawn of that first day can practically feel like you're sequence breaking the game. It actually reminds me a lot of when I was a kid and I would just dick around in Soul Reaver, put in a few cheat codes, and boom, I've got the Cane Reaver and I'm off to burn Rahab alive before I ever pay Melchiah a visit. To give an example of what I've been going on about, take the Southern Swamp, the area that leads to the first dungeon in the game. When you arrive at the swamp, there is not much you can do as the boat tours out and paths are blocked. The tourist center has a picture contest going on only while the swamp is still poisoned, so you can get your pictograph here when you enter and talk to Tingle's dad. Spoiler? So just make your way up the swamp by spin hopping across the lily pads, which is not only speedy but very fun to do. As you make your way across the swamp, you'll come across a potion shop owned by some old hag, but bottles for bottling potions you do not have. Since you're a bottleless child, you leave and go to the Woods of Mystery. Yeah, it's just the mysterious woods from Ocarina again. You'll find another old hag that was attacked by Birdface. She needs healing, but you have no bottles for healing, so she gives you shit for being a poser. Yeah, she just straight up claims you're not a good person, all because you're not carrying on a potion. Like, what the fuck? So make your way back to the potion shop to report you found her, and the shopkeeper will lose her shit about how that's her sister, and give you a bottled potion to give to her. Make your way back to her and drink the fucking potion in front of the old cunt. Give her the potion. Once cured, the old ghoul will tell you that she's a swamp tour guide. She runs the boat cruise and tells you to head over for a free ride. Take your free boat ride to the Deku Palace. Upon entering, you'll find Dekus ready for blood, the king especially, and a monkey tied to a post soon to be executed. Leave the palace because you need magic beans to get in the cage holding the poor bastard. Do some sneaky sneak, grab yourself some magic beans, plant the magic bean on the outer wall of the palace, platform over where you Metal Geared, waste time by falling. Get to monkey! So the monkey teaches you a song. Play it to end his life sooner. Take a shortcut for Dekus only to the sunken temple. Platform high across the swamp. Fuck up and fall a couple of times. Unsink the synced temple. As you were on your way to the dungeon, maybe you went exploring and found a heart piece or two. Maybe you decided to go in the Skulltula house and get all 30 golden Skulltulas to rid a man of his curse and be rewarded the Mask of Truth. You're able to do it as soon as you learn the Song of Awakening from the monkey. All you need is Deku sticks to burn the web blocking the entrance, a bottle for pouring water and capturing bugs, magic beams, and a bomb bag. Of course, you're always free to do it later after you've acquired the hook shot and arrows, but there's nothing stopping you from tackling it now. But in much the same way, there's nothing preventing you from waiting till you think it'll be easier or just when you feel you have more time. It's all up to you to spend the time the way you want and on what you deem important for that particular run. Now let's say you've done all of that. Put in all of that work to get to the dungeon, done a few side quests, and along the way maybe you wasted time by falling in the poison swamp because you overshot while spin hopping, kept getting caught by guards, missing platforms while platforming overhead, kept accidentally skipping the Deku shortcut, and maybe you decided to go ahead and tackle the Skulltula house. You might have gotten stuck trying to find a few of the bastards, or even stumped on how to reach them. Oh, and you probably had to backtrack a couple of times to get magic beans. I know I did. If you're a dumbass like me, you might have also figured out you need bombs to blow up this rock and to reach this fucker, but you don't have a bomb bag or bombs, so you backtrack to Clocktown to buy a bomb bag just to get the last one you were missing. Don't be me. Don't be stupid. Yeah, you did all of that, and as a result, you didn't get to start the temple or even finish it. You found a few fairies, but you're still not done with the dungeon, and BAM! Cucked by the moon. You had no choice but to play the Song of Time and lose all of your progress. Except, no, you didn't. A mindset people have is that restarting is you losing progress, when it's more of you locking in that progress. You did all of that work to get where you were, and now you have to do it all over. Except no you don't. Yes, everything gets undone, and the world is all shitty again. And yeah, you lost all of your consumables, your dungeon keys, and fairies you collected. You know what you didn't lose though? Your bottle you got from the old potion seller, and the song taught to you by the monkey. Just fill that sucker up for potion and give it to the old bag of bones so you can take your free boat ride to the Deku Palace. Since the monkey has already taught you the Song of Awakening, there is no need to pay him a visit, so you can just make your way to the sunken temple and then carry on for the dungeon with plenty of time to spare. If you at any point saved at an owl statue, let's say the one right in front of the sunken temple, you can play the Song of Soaring and be instantly transported to that location, skipping all of that. If you were halfway through a dungeon, I can understand that starting over isn't the most appealing idea, but it's all about that replayability. You may have only made it halfway through, but you're armed with knowledge now. You can easily get back to where you left off just as easily as you were able to bypass all that extra shit you did before. There's no wrong way to play Majora's Mask. Restarting the 3-day cycle is inevitable, and there is no need to dread it. Termina never changes, but the way you can get around it is always changing. As you play more and more, you'll acquire tools that make everything easier, and you'll fall into a groove. Oh, and one last thing. Only losers stand around waiting for events to happen so they don't miss them. You literally never have to do that, nor should you. Don't listen to those people telling you that waiting around is something you'll be doing, or that you need to use the song of double time. You don't. You should never be just waiting around for the events to occur, and if you do have to kill time, then farm for rupees, stock back up on supplies, fucking do something. Just don't sit there and wait. Look, I'm not trying to tell you that Majora's Mask is a super easy game and that you're some kind of pussy for not playing it. It is a tough game. Granted, I think it gets a bad rep for being harder than it actually is. It's often referred to as one of the hardest Zeldas, and in my opinion, it's not any harder or easier than the others. Majora certainly has challenging bits, and some of that does come from a time limit, but as I've explained, it's fairly lenient. Hopefully, I've encouraged you to give the game a try, or even just another shot if you didn't like it before. Maybe you still won't like it, and that's fine. There's plenty of people who just like the theme and the music from the game because of the dark atmosphere surrounding it. Majora's Mask isn't for everyone. If it's a game that you can like that doesn't involve you playing it, that's fine. I just want to talk about this because it's something always missing from reviews. Everyone goes on about the dark and depressing stuff. They might go into difficulty and the time mechanic a little bit, but not enough to really let you know what you're in for. But thanks for watching.